What's up, motherfuckers? It's been a minute. I moved out, uni and all that. The music keeps going, and to the two people watching this, forgive me for the absence, but I'm back with more albums I like to share. So, album number one, King Cruel, 6 Feet Beneath the Moon. King Cruel was a name that I was only familiar with like last year. I'd heard the song "Baby Blue" that's also on this record from an Instagram post, and I didn't really think too much of it. It wasn't until that I realized that the song was actually stuck in my head for quite some time, and I finally decided to scratch that itch by finally giving his music a real listen. And I was blown away, to say the least. I think all of my close friends know how much of an impact this discovery made me. It was almost personal, it was an out of this world experience, as cringe as it is, discovering a new artist. I felt like his whole catalog was made for my ears only to enjoy. This album is beautiful, man. Like, I love his whole aesthetic. His voice is just one of a kind. There's always so much room as well in each track, and somehow he makes it work so gracefully. The sort of jazzy feel in some of the tracks. It's honestly it's just great. Everything about this album, it's just great. It just feels like an explosion of expression. I also need to bring light, of course, Archie's lyricism, because every word and every line and every track on this LP is just so carefully picked out by him, and he finds combinations of words like no other. It's honestly great poetry. It's good art, man. It's good art, and I don't know what to say. I love this album. Album number two, You Will Never Know Why by Sweet Trip. I first discovered this album also last year. You know that feature where they enhance your playlist? Yeah. I did that and discovered them through that. So you guys should really utilize Spotify's features to expose you to new artists, because I'm pretty glad that it led me to this album. This album is really fun to me, very fun. The opener is really fun. It's a decent setup for the rest of the album. But to be honest, I don't really see myself coming back to this, to every song at least on this album. It's fun, but not really something I'll put on every day. Well, I did put the song on, or for this album on, for like the first 2 weeks of uni, and I found myself just skipping to the songs I like, that being the opener, Conservation for Two, Air Supply, Milk is really good, and Acting. But overall, it's still a really good listen, so I think you guys should also give it a try. Alice Phoebe Lou. I love this album so much personally. I don't know how I only discovered her this year. Like, it's like a good kept secret. This album is super calming. Bad for driving, but good for everything else. I found myself listening to a lot more female artists recently too, like Faye Webster, YS Blood, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Leve and Ichiko Awa and such. And Alice Phoebe Lou is just a great new addition to my library. This album feels like a cigarette on a sunny day, man. It's got such a charm to it. And her voice is very calming, like she's whispering directly to me. Velvet Mood is great. Lover Over the Moon is great, and Lovesick is just amazing. I think that might be my favorite track on this album. And overall, I just think this album is just really beautiful. It's just such a good listen, just like everything else. I guess I got nothing else to say. So yeah. Now, Lamp, I'm sure, is a name that most of you guys are familiar with, and unlike the other artists, or the other three artists that I've covered, this is a band that I was already familiar with, but I wasn't familiar with this. I've seen about 20 TikToks, by the way, of couples recreating that cover. Fuck off. I'm sure everyone knows them, loves them, I do too. And the CP is just lovely. It sounds somehow different to the Lamp that I was familiar with, like the usual, I forgot the titles, but the songs I'm talking about. Or maybe I just don't listen to them enough, I'm not sure. But I was pleasantly surprised at this difference. Everything about the CP is just so good, perfect to drive through at night, unlike Alice Phoebe Lou. What I like about this album, and it's also become what I mainly look for when I listen to albums, is the fact that, or the ability to just take me away with the music for a while. Lamp is already a favorite of mine, and this EP is just such a fun experience. Well, that's all for like the week, the year, to be honest. Maybe I'll get off my lazy butt and make more content if I find myself bored of law school. You know, if you guys have any, if the two guys watching have any suggestions on what albums I should listen to, what albums I should cover, any other new ideas maybe for content, you know, I'm all yours, guys. So yeah. But for now, that's I think that's it. See you guys.